Hey, what's going on? I want to talk about this film, Queen and Slim, and I usually don't do film reviews, like movie reviews, but I do feel like this film um, was potentially supposed to be like a real powerful display of black love and of a storyline that contextualizes police brutality. I think those were the purported goals of the film. I don't think the film did neither. Um, that was disappointing, but there were some highlights of the film. There were some good parts about the film. I think the cinematography was amazing. The visuals were amazing. The soundtrack was amazing. Queen looked amazing. Like she just looked elegant. She's tall. Long legs, smooth skin. Like clavicle pronounced. It was amazing. However, they didn't do a good job making her human, right? Her character development they could have put more effort into that. I think they try too hard to make her seem like a badass, right? Make her seem like this ultra strong, emotionally avoidant, type of protagonist, action hero almost. I think there was a point when she got shot in the leg and or grazed in the leg, and she never mentioned that the rest of the film. Like she was jumping out of buildings and like dislocating her shoulder and popping it back in, and it was like, okay, I get it, I don't know. But look, so the film, how it starts, right? It starts with like a Tinder date. They're like at a diner, getting dinner, and all I can really remember is oh, my hands are actually, it's cold outside. All I can really remember is Slim asking Queen, "So why did you swipe right?" And Queen saying something like, "It's because you looked sad and I felt bad for you." Like I was like, that doesn't make. Anyways, I was just like, okay, all right. Hey, Tobias, chill. Tobias, come here. Yeah, so I just didn't understand it, you know. Yeah, I just didn't get it. But anyway, so the date doesn't really go too well, and they end up, so Slim ends up taking Queen back, right? So they're in a car, of course, right? And then this is when, it happens. This is when the racist, asshole of a police officer pulls them over, and is being very disrespectful to Slim, searches their car without even a warrant, at Slim's permission, right? And at a certain point, tells Slim to get out the car. Say here. At a certain point, tells Slim to get out the car, and Slim gets out the car, and he puts his hand in his pocket. It's something innocuous, and what happens is that, the officer pulls out a gun on him, and Slim, it's like, whoa, like what's happening? He was a little naive to the fact that a racist police officer would do something so inhumane, and uncalled for. So that, Queen gets out the car, and she's, she's upset, and she's, saying, I'm going to record this and stuff like that. Queen almost escalates it. You already have a mercurial police officer. You already have someone unpredictable who has a gun, and she's kind of escalating it. And then she reaches for her phone, and then the white police officer takes that as a threat, and he goes to shoot Queen, and Slim tackles the police officer, so the officer only hits Queen's thigh or grazes the thigh. So I guess Slim saves Queen's life in that way, and they wrestle and tussle, white police officer and Slim gets the gun, and he ends up shooting the police officer, and it's self-defense, right? And somehow they decided they should not take their chances with a self-defense plea, and they should just flee and be on the run from the police and abandon their families. So I didn't get that part. I just felt like it wasn't believable. Like, what about Slim's character? He's supposed to be this suburban kid who's like a religious church-going, guy. What about his character told me that when he would just leave his family and just go on the run, from the police with this lady that he just met on Tinder? Like, nothing told me that. Like, it didn't make sense to me. And what told me that Queen would just go on the run with this guy that she just met on Tinder when she can just leave? Like, she didn't shoot the police officer. Like, she's fine. She can go and live her life and go back to her family. Like, it didn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, if they would have gave me an incentive and why Slim would have made that decision, that would make more sense. Like, that would, but it lacked character building. It didn't. There's no reason behind it. Man, like if Slim had a criminal background or something like that, right? Like, if he had bad experiences with the prison system, bad experiences with the judicial system, it would make more sense. Like, if when he killed a white police officer and Queen said, hey, we should turn ourselves in, we have a self-defense, claim, and he was like, no, I'm not turning myself in. This is self-defense. Not at all. They're not gonna give me a fair shake. You know what they do to people in the prison system? I've been there. I'm not going back to jail. I'm not going back. Absolutely not. I'd rather take my chances outside. I mean, you can go back if you want to. Dubai, stop. You can go back if you want to. I'm not going back. I'd rather die. And then she looks at him and she says, I'm not leaving. And he goes like, what? And she said, I'm not leaving. I mean, you saved my life. If you're not turning yourself in and you're gonna take your chances on the road, then I'm gonna roll with you. And then they just take off from there. That would make more sense, because that would give me a reason why she would stay, and that would give me a reason why he would not take his chances and he would hit the road and he would flee. And it would also buy more into the love scene, into their love affair. Like, I didn't even believe Queen was in love with Slim. Like, it wasn't even believable. Like, they spend so much time trying to make her this badass action superhero that they didn't make her a human, And if the goals of the film were supposed to be black love and supposed to be like contextualizing, police brutality, like, I didn't get that. I definitely didn't get black love from that. There was a sex scene that I liked. I liked the sex scene. When they were in the car, I did like that. However, the lack of building, the passionate sexual tension, the unbridled passionate sexual tension that was brimming, that led up to the sex scene, was lacking. It just wasn't there. So when the sex scene happened, it was good. It was a good moment, but it just wasn't believable. And then it was juxtaposed with this little black boy shooting the compassionate black police officer in the face, and then him dying soon after. It was just terrible. I said, what is this for? That was triggering, and for what? Like, if something is that gruesome, it's really gory, gruesome, like, it has to have a message that's as powerful, as moving. Otherwise, it's just minority trauma porn, which it read like that, it was just like, oh, we need something shocking, so let's just have this happen. It's like, really? Like, it's this film really had an opportunity and really, like, messed up his shot. Like, it was a missed opportunity. It was poorly written, just poorly written. And it was really embarrassing that a black person made this film, like, wrote this film. Like, I don't know what Lena was doing. It was just terrible, But like, we missed it. Hopefully, we can have another shot at that. But it was an opportunity lost. I don't think contextualizing police brutality was her true goal. I think her true goal was to make a hero out of a beautiful, you know, black woman, which I understand. But they didn't even do that. Like, she wasn't she wasn't human, you know. So it wasn't, you know, they try to overdo it, you know, so much that it just didn't work for me. But tell me what you think. You know, leave a comment. Maybe, you know, I didn't get it, but, you know, it just was a huge disappointment for me. But let me know. All right.